This interview is being made for the Friends of the Collinsville Historic Museum.
Yeah.
It is an effort to collect and preserve the facts, remembrances, and events of some of Collinsville's citizens. We hope that the viewer will find it interesting and educational for many years to come. Today is the 29th of November, 1994. The time is 7:15 p.m. We are making this tape at the home of Mr. William Pistrui, and my name is Arvil W. Wrigley, and I will be conducting the interview. John, would you please start by introducing yourself to us, and please give us your full name and your place of birth.
My name is John J. Pistrui, and I was born in a little town called Obeba, which is when I was born, it was part of the Austria-Hungary kingdom, and after the First World War, well then it was annexed to Romania again, like it was years before, you know, because it was, I think it was run over by Austria-Hungary. Mm-hmm. They took it over, you know.
Let's see. We'd also like to have the names of each of your parents and their place of birth.
Well, my father's name was Ion, I-O-N, Ion, and my mother's name was
Were they both born in the same city?
Yeah, they were born in the same town. Yeah, it's a little town. Yeah, mm-hmm. And I can't think of it right name just now. You know, Ioana. Y-I-O-N-N-A.
N-A. And
I-O-N-N-A, just like Ewan, just like John.
Yeah, okay. What town were they born in?
They were born in a town by the name of Bebavece. B-E-B-A-V-E-C-H-E.
Okay. Did either of your parents have brothers or sisters living in Collinsville?
No, not in Collinsville.
Not in Collinsville.
No.
Did they have brothers or sisters, though?
Do I have brothers and sisters?
Did your parents have brothers or sisters?
Oh, no, not in Collinsville, okay. No.
Okay. Did you have any brothers or sisters or ancestors?
Yeah. I have. One of my brothers, Charles, but he died several years ago. And I got a sister named Florence. That's something.
Still living in Kansas.
Oh, still living in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
It's Emporia, isn't it?
Emporia, she lives in Emporia, Kansas.
Okay.
And her name is Florence. That's something Steinkühler.
Steinkühler. Irish name.
Cooler. Yeah, Irish. Yeah. Steinkühler.
You just had one brother and one sister then?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes. I've got 3 children.
3 children? What are their names?
Yeah, William.
William.
And my daughter's name is Jane. Jane Nevinger,
Nevinger. Yes, I know her.
and my brother was Charles Pistrui.
Charles.
He died several years ago.
Okay. While we're on this subject with your children, I'd like to introduce Mr. William Pistrui, who is the son of John, and is sitting with us tonight to kind of help us along here on this.
Yeah. I need help.
Okay, we all do. Can you give us any details about your parents or your family that you consider unique or otherwise significant?
Well, the only thing I can think of is that they lived, when they were young, while I was growing up, they worked together, and they didn't have any property of their own, but they worked for other people that had quite a bit of land. They needed somebody to help to operate.
Were they farmers?
They were farmers, yeah, farmers, and they, of course, at that time, they worked by hand, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, they did their cutting of the wheat by scythes, you know.
Yeah.
And my dad used to do that, and my mother used to come behind him and get the
She would do the bundles? Bundling afterwards, huh?
She would do the bundling afterwards, yes.
Bundling
she
after
came
the cut.
afterwards to pile up the straw.
Yeah, okay.
They had special way to do that. That's what she used to do, and he used to cut it, and they'd get paid to do that. And there was, when I remember when I was with them one time, there was two other couples doing the same thing on a big farm, and they had me there to watch a whiskey bottle that they had there that's what the men had to drink, you know, while they were working.
Oh yeah.
And
was this in Romania or in the United States? In Romania.
In Romania.
Romania. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was kind of unusual drinking
it
whiskey.
was unusual, yeah. But that's the only. Maybe every couple hours or so, they'd come down, take a drink, you know, and they had me under a wagon where it was shady,
in the shade,
to keep that bottle warm.
Cool.
Keep it.
In other words,
that was usually the way that was done up there that time.
Did you drink any of the whiskey?
Yeah, I did one time.
One time you drank it?
Well, one time, and I passed out.
How old were you?
And I guess I must have been about 7, 8 years old or something like that.
You must have had a pretty good slug.
Yeah, I don't know how, but anyway, after they came back, they found out that I was down and out, you know. Well, then they took me to a home up there and stuck me in a barrel of water, you know. I came to, but then I never had no problem that I could remember.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I remember that happened, you know, while I was out there, while my mother and father were working there.
They didn't fire you, did they?
No.
No. Okay. Now this was in Romania.
Romania, Bebavec is the name of the town.
Okay.
It was a small town, I guess. But I don't think there must have been more than maybe about 300-400 people there in that town.
Mm-hmm. A little village.
Just a little village, yeah.
It was kind of a feudal system. They would have one large landowner,
Yeah.
and then all
Oh,
the people
I
who
see.
did not own land, why then they would work for him,
Yeah.
and he would give them a certain portion of the meat. Then he would allow them to raise a few crops on his land for their
Mhm.
own consumption.
Oh,
So that it was part of the old feudal system was still in effect at that time.
now this was in Romania,
Yeah.
and when did you come to the United States, and what year?
We came over in I think around 1907 or 1908, something like that.
1907, 1908.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see, you were how old then at that time?
I was about 8 years old.
8 years old.
9 years old. I forget now which.
Did your parents continue farming after they got to the United States?
No,
They didn't.
No.
They went into other things.
no. My dad came first because at that time they needed people to come down and do some work, do labor work in the United States. So he came, and he liked it so much that when he got enough money, whether he had me and my sister and brother and my mother, he sent us money to come over to be with him.
Be over there and be with you then.
Yeah.
What did your father do when he got here? What kind of work did he
When
do?
he worked for the streetcar company in St. Louis.
Streetcar company.
Streetcar company. He was a painter. He learned it at first. He got the cars ready. He had with sandpaper, and everything. And then after a year or so after I got down there, he got a job as a painter, and he's been a painter all his life after that.
Oh, and he painted streetcars then?
Streetcars, yeah.
For
And
the
then-
city of St. Louis?
In St. Louis, yeah.
How did they paint the cars at that time? How did they paint the cars?
They were sort of yellow.
Yellow. Did they have spray painting equipment, or how did they do
No,
this?
they painted by hand.
Oh, they painted by hand with
By
a brush.
hand, yeah. Yeah.
I'll be darned, isn't that
Yeah,
something?
and
He worked there a good while. then.
he worked there, and then when Ford came over with automobiles, they paid him more money, so he went to work for Ford and got more money painting automobiles.
Now, where did he work for Ford? Where was that at?
No, he worked he worked in St. Louis, but I don't know the name of the company. Whether it was the Ford company, it must have been the Ford company, because that's when they started to pay $5.
$5 an hour?
$5 a day.
$5 a day. That's right.
$5 a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Were you in the military service?
Yes.
When did you go into the military?
I went in 1918, but in November. That is that's what they had my time. But then they actually, I was in there about 2 months before that, because it took them quite a while to find out where I was born and everything,
Oh, yes.
I told them, and then they had to
Go
check
back and
it,
check that, yeah.
because I wasn't drafted. I enlisted.
You enlisted.
And they had to make sure that everything was okay, and it took them about 2 or 3 months, I think, to find out, because I was in the service about 2 months before they actually put me down as being in the Army.
I see. Well, the branch of service was the Army then.
It was the regular Army. It was the Students' Army Training Corps at Washington University.
Okay, so you took some training at Washington University in St. Louis.
In St. Louis at Students' Army Training Corps. They started that a year or so before the war was over.
I see. Oh, well, that's interesting. That is. Were there any other members of your family in the military?
No.
Brother?
No.
Brother? Okay.
Let's see. Well, only Bill.
Well, that was the World
He
War.
was.
That was the Second World War.
Yeah.
Do you or did you have any hobbies?
Any what?
Any hobbies?
Hobbies?
Did you have any hobbies, or do you have any now?
Yeah. Well, I used to. I used to like to. I used to. After I retired, I started bowling, and I got to be pretty good in bowling.
You kind of made a hobby of bowling.
Bowling, yeah.
When you were younger, you played the banjo. And when you were in high school, you played the banjo in high school.
Oh yeah, in high school. That was after that. That was while I was still in school. You know.
Banjo
Played
player.
banjo.
Strumming a banjo.
He did some wrestling and tumbling when he was younger too. He was quite athletic.
Well, that's interesting. Do you remember your first girlfriend?
My first girlfriend was Anne Flori.
Flori?
Flori. She was Romanian too. And but the only reason I went with her is because my cousin was went steady with a girl that was her friend, and she wanted to have me to go with them too, you know.
I see, but kind of a double date thing.
So it was like a date to help my cousin and his girlfriend out.
Can you tell us anything?
That's just the one.
That's
to start out with.
The first one.
Yeah,
oh, you had many of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You had many girlfriends then?
No, and I had one after that when I came home from the service.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working. Then I met my wife, and her name at that time was Argelan. Argelam. And her first name's I think that's Christine.
Christine Argelan.
Huh?
Christine Argelan was
Christine Argelan, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us anything about your wedding day?
About the wedding?
About your wedding day?
Your wedding day.
Your wedding day?
Oh, the wedding day was, I think, the 20th of
January, wasn't it,
Dan? January, yes, 20th of January in 1924.
1924.
Yeah.
Where was the wedding? What town was it? Was that in St. Louis or?
That was in Madison. Madison, because my wife lived in Madison at that time. That's where we had the wedding.
I see. What church was your wedding at?
We were with a what's
St.
what,
Mary's Romanian Orthodox Church, wasn't it?
it wasn't Romanian because we didn't have a Romanian church there,
Mhm.
but it was a
Greek Orthodox?
Greek Orthodox
Greek
Orthodox church there, and well, I guess that's
What- how old were you then?
I was 24.
24. And where did you
24.
live after you got married?
How?
After you got married, where did you live?
After we got married, we lived in Granite City.
In Granite City?
Yeah, we bought a house because I was 20. I was old enough to think I had a steady job, so we could own our own home.
I see. Now, when you got married, that was about 5 or 6 years after you got out of the service, was it not?
No, that was see, 19, 18 to 24. Yes,
And you're about 5 years.
6 years.
Right, I think you're right.
I see.
About 6 years.
Yeah.
About 6 years? You showed me earlier this photograph. Would you hold this up here so that they can see that? And now this photograph was taken where?
This photograph was taken in, let's see,
You were in St. Louis then, weren't you, Dad, then?
no. I was I think that was taken in Madison, Illinois.
Madison? Oh,
Madison, because most of these fellows, quite a few of them lived in Madison, and so did my wife.
Which one is you on this photograph? Which?
This one here.
That one over here on the far right, that's you?
Yeah, that's me, yeah.
Okay. And all of these fellows were in your outfit?
No, they weren't my outfit.
Oh,
It was
weren't?
their own.
Different? Oh, okay.
Different outfit. We just got together one time when we all, from all Romanians, we figured we better go ahead and get our pictures taken.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
one of the people there is my godfather. This one over here. Name is
That's
Yeah.
the top row, the second from the left.
his name was Bucher, and I was named after him. Bucher means joy in Romanian. Bill was
Joy,
the
that's his first name,
Yeah.
and Binig was his last name.
Benig?
Bukur Binig.
Benigi.
Bining.
I see.
Binig.
I see. Okay. At the same time, you had shown me this other photograph here. Now, this was when I understand that you were in a high school baseball team, right?
Yeah, baseball team. Yeah,
And what was
Yeah.
the name of the baseball team again?
it was Central High School baseball team.
And which one is you on this picture?
Yeah, this is me here. Yeah.
Right there. That's the first row on the extreme left. Front row.
On the extreme right, isn't it?
Well, from there.
Go for it. Go for you, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. When did you move to Collinsville?
When did we move into Collinsville?
What year?
About 1944, I think, or 45, somewhere around there.
That was during World War II. The war was still
Yeah,
going
it was
on.
just at the end, it was just about the finish of the end of the war almost. In fact, it was after that. It was 6 years after.
6 years after?
Yeah, because we were married in 24, and the war was over in 1918.
Oh, the World War
Six-
One, yeah.
World War One, yeah.
But, yeah, okay.
World
No, I
World
was
War
thinking
II.
about World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that time, we we yeah, they had that was in right after the war. After the war was over.
Right after the war.
Right. So that was in
45 then.
yeah,
It was a little earlier. It was 44.
44.
44, yeah.
44. Yeah.
When I went in.
44.
We still had,
I
war
see.
was for about another year after that. Mhm.
What was the reason that you moved to Collinsville? Was there a specific reason for moving to Collinsville? Did you get a job in Collinsville, or?
No, we moved in Collinsville because we wanted to get a place with quite a few
Acres?
no, because this here just had 2 acres of what we bought.
Okay.
But I wanted to have a little room out there for one of my sons, John.
Mm-hmm. I see.
He was incapacitated, and he couldn't. He couldn't take care of himself, so I thought I'd buy that so that maybe he could start getting better all the time.
Oh, I see.
And that's the reason we moved in Collinsville.
Where was this at in Collinsville? What was the address?
At that time, it was 15.
The street.
Floor,
Yeah,
floor
Red
place.
Rose. 15 Red Rose. It's the same as it is now, yeah. But they well, I think they when we lived there, it was they always called it the Johann Edition.
Johann Editions, yeah.
Johann
That
Edition.
greenhouse there.
Where the greenhouses
Right.
used to be there,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where that's at, yeah.
Anyway, that used to belong to the Johans at one time. Yeah.
I see. How long did you live there?
We've lived there now since from 1944 to 1994. It'll be about
That's your present address then?
70.
Okay. Well,
19.
can you tell us what stores that you patronized in Collinsville?
Well, right now, I'm not with my wife. She's in a nursing home, and I'm by myself. And I buy everything I need mostly at Hardee's
Well,
store.
when you came to Collinsville, what stores did you?
When we came to
Collinsville,
Collinsville.
do you remember any of those? Like grocery stores or hardware stores, furniture stores, clothing stores in town? Back at that time back in the 40s when you moved here. There's been so many little grocery stores that have closed, I know.
I remember one store that Mom used to go to, Dad. He was a young Jewish immigrant. I think it was Fred's. Was there a Fred's clothing store?
Fred's clothing
I
store?
think so. He came.
I think so.
Jerry actually helped set him up. He might have come from maybe one of the concentration camps, and they set him up, and he sold blue jeans and overalls and things like that. And I remember my mother used to like to go there because it
Fred's.
was, very inexpensive.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
And
What?
But I remember, that store, but I don't.
What about hardware stores? Hardware stores, you remember?
Hardware stores? Oh,
You
Kane,
took me to Kreitz a
Kane,
couple
Kane,
times.
Kane, Kane Brothers.
Well, that
Yeah,
was,
that was-
King
that was-
Brothers was a
That was back in the
He was
50s.
that was the lumberyard,
Yeah.
lumber, yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he had everything there in the store
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we needed, we could buy.
What did you do for amusement in the early years?
Oh, I say I like to bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to read. I spend quite a bit of time reading.
Earlier you mentioned something about playing a banjo.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't. After I got married, well then I didn't have time to fool around with
Fool around
music
with banjo.
anymore. So
Did-
I sold my banjo to somebody else.
Did you have the opportunity to play with anyone else at, say, weddings or parties of any sort?
Yeah. I had a couple of friends of mine. Well, one of them played a guitar, and the other one played one of those small.
The ukulele.
No, not a ukulele. What do they?
Accordion?
No, it's a string instrument, but
Okay.
it's kind of round like it. They don't play them anymore.
Mandolin?
Huh?
Mandolin?
Yeah, mandolin. Yeah,
Mandolin. Okay. Okay. How long did you play? Do you remember how many years you might have done that?
Oh, I think we must have played maybe about. Let's see, about maybe 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Did you have a name for your group, your little 3-man group?
No.
No name.
No.
No
We
name
just
band,
we just
huh?
played for our own, and for not like somebody would have some kind of a party or something. Well, we'd play for them.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I bet that was a lot of fun. wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Did your family own an automobile?
Yeah. My father had an automobile. Yeah.
What kind of a car was it? Do you remember?
It was an old Ford.
An old Ford?
One of the at that time it was
A Model
a
T?
new one. Yeah.
Model T Ford. Huh?
Model T Ford. Yeah.
How about you? What was your first car?
My first car was a
Overland, wasn't it?
Oakland.
Overland?
Overland?
Overland, I believe.
Overland Whippet? They used to have a Whippet made. Overland made a Whippet.
Yeah. No. I can't remember.
It was not an Overland, then.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was not an Overland?
Was it back in the 20s?
Oh no. What I was thinking of the
It's hard to remember some of those things sometimes. I have a hard time remembering my first car.
no, ain't that something? Mine's an Oldsmobile, but it's a Oldsmobile. I can't.
Is that your present day car?
It's a 1987.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you recall any of Collinsville's early sports teams?
Any
Collinsville,
sports teams
baseball teams,
Ba-
basketball teams, or football, or
from Collinsville?
Uh-huh.
No, I remember their basketball team. That they always had a real good high school basketball team.
Collinsville always had a #1 team there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. You didn't attend any of schools in Collinsville, did you?
No.
Okay. Most of your schooling was where?
Oh, it was in
St. Louis?
in St. Louis, at Washington University.
Washington University. That
Yeah.
was.
I
was
went there.
where
I
you
went
were.
there for 2 years,
Okay.
and high school in St. Louis.
High school in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Central High School.
Huh?
Central High School.
Central
in
High
St. Louis.
School, yeah.
Okay. What was your first job, and how old were you?
The first job was, I think, a
Is that the one at the brass foundry then?
Huh?
The brass foundry in St. Louis?
oh yeah, there was one.
St. Louis Brass Works?
There was one before that. I think it was a Wagner Electric Company.
Oh, Wagner Electric?
Yeah, Wagner Electric, and I used to help put them together.
With the wire motors, electric motors and stuff like that? Is that what you did? Electrical wiring?
No, not electrical winding. It's the
But Wagner Electric, I remember, they did other things
yeah.
other than
They used to make what I was thinking about switches.
switches. Oh, okay.
Switches.
Switches.
And at that time, we put them together by hand.
By hand, uh-huh.
The way back, long back when, and I remember I started. That was my first job. I think started in the summertime from school.
That's right after you got after school.
Right, after high school.
Did you ever work in Collinsville?
No.
Never worked in the city of Collinsville.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable event related to your work that you can recall?
The most memorable what?
Most memorable event that you can recall in your work when you
In the work? What?
when you in your workplace when you worked
Oh.
for any of these?
Well, I always thought when I worked at the Granite City Steel, the coke plant, I was in charge of the coke ovens that they had to work 24 hours a day and every day in a year for maybe 30, 40 years. And you had to have somebody up there that keeps the plant running. Well, that was my job to keep keep the plant running all the time, and I put people in places where they need to be. Where I was the assistant superintendent to take care of all that.
I see. You had a pretty important job there then.
That was
didn't you?
pretty important. I thought it was anyhow.
You had to
Yeah.
keep the ball rolling. And
You had to keep the ball rolling year in and year out without shutting down.
yeah. That was a tough job.
Yeah, he got called out many times at night when they had a
Yeah,
When you had a
potential
problem.
Oh, yeah,
something like that.
and I had about 150 men working for me, and I had to make sure that everything was going right.
How many years did you work there? Do you remember about?
Oh, I worked over there probably around 20 years. 20 years, yeah.
Oh, that's a long time. Were there any other events related to your work that you would like to share with us? Anything else that
No.
How did you get back and forth to work?
How did I what?
How did you get back and forth to work?
I drove back and
You
forth
drove.
with an automobile, yeah.
Yeah, I see. You didn't use a streetcar back then.
No.
Okay.
They didn't have any in Collinsville anyway.
Was there anyone from Collinsville that worked there too that you worked with?
That I worked with?
Yeah. Anyone from Collinsville that worked with?
Oh, yeah.
Martin Louth was one, wasn't he, Dad?
Who?
Martin Louth. Martin Louth worked at Granite City Steel with you.
Oh,
He's
no,
one of Noni's
no,
relatives.
no, he, uh, well, but he didn't work with me though.
Oh, he did. He worked at the plant.
At the plant, yeah.
He rode with you in a carpool, huh?
Huh?
Did he ride with you in a carpool?
Yeah. I rode in a carpool. You know, one of the fellows in the office and myself. We took turns.
Took turns, I see.
Yeah.
Was he from Collinsville too?
Yeah.
What was his name, do you know? That's been a while back.
I just can't think
That's
of
been
his
a while
name.
back. I can understand. Do you know where any of these people are now that you used to work with? This fellow
That I used to work with?
The fellow you
No.
shared rides?
Let's see. Oh yeah, Joe Ossola.
Joe Ossola?
Yeah.
Joe Ossola. I heard that name
You-
just recently.
Yeah, he was he worked there at Granite City Steel. He was the superintendent up there.
I see. There was an Ossola, I think, who used to work at the canning factory, at the ketchup factory down there.
Oh, is
Hill,
that
an
so?
Ossola too, but I don't know. It's not the same one though. Okay.
No, he worked at Granite City
Granite City.
Steel all the time.
Do you belong to, or have you belonged to any church or civic organizations?
Well, I belong to the Catholic Church in Collinsville, to St. Peter and Paul, and I used to belong to the I've gone to
You're the American Legion, weren't you, Dad? For
Veterans group?
Huh?
A veterans group organization?
oh I don't belong to the ones in Collinsville now,
Okay.
but I used to belong to them when I lived in Granite City.
I see. Let's see. If the got to get the recollections here. I feel like I lost my spot. Could you tell us of your earliest recollections of Collinsville? When you first moved here, or
Yeah,
even
well,
before
when I
that
first
time?
moved here, yeah, I was very very interested in getting some place over there where I could have my son
Yeah.
have a place where he can work, you know, and I think the place that I bought, it was just right for that, you know, and we did a good job, I think, keeping it.
That's your earliest recollection of Collinsville, though, when you.
Yeah, that's my earliest recollection. Yeah.
Do you have any memories of the Miners Theater in Collinsville?
No, I think if anything, I may have been down there maybe once.
Once or twice. You never
Yeah,
attended
but then
the movies very
long
much.
time ago. Yeah.
What do you remember of theaters and entertainment in Collinsville? Did you go to any other entertainment programs that any of the other organizations might have sponsored, or
No.
no entertainment programs? Okay. How about Collinsville Park? Do you remember anything about the Collinsville Park?
About the park?
Collinsville Park?
Yeah, I think that they did a good job since I've been down there, taking care of it and fixing it up so make it as good as it is now. And we enjoyed, while my wife was still living, was still home. Why we used to walk out to do a lot of walking out there for exercise, and it's really a nice place.
What Woodland Park?
That's you're thinking of Woodland Park.
Yeah. Mr. Wrigley is, there's an entertainment place called Collinsville Park also.
Used to be down on the end of Hesperia Street in Collinsville. The old Collinsville Park where they used to have a lot of the big bands and dancing, and eventually they had roller skating there and all kinds of entertainment. You never did know
I never
much
know
about
that. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us any of your memories about the coal mining industry in Collinsville, or the dress factory, or the ketchup factory?
No, I never did seem like I never did have any chance to actually get into that at all.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Do you think that there are any parts of Collinsville that should be preserved as it is for future generations?
Well, I think they should try to buy up some more acreage so as to expand it, because it's such a good town. I think that it would be a lot of people would want to move here.
Yeah. Well, I think they probably are expanding a little bit now.
Expanding.
The Eastport Plaza down below the Bluff Hill there now, and a couple other areas where they're expanding now. So they are.
I think that's a good idea, though, to expand, because there'd be a lot of people that would like it out here.
Have you noticed many changes in Collinsville since you moved here? Do you have any recollections of what you noticed as the biggest change in Collinsville?
No, that it has expanded quite a bit since we moved here, and the people really take good care of their homes.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that's true. Can you name some people who you believe had a significant impact on Collinsville's development?
On the development of Collinsville?
Can you name some names of people who might have had an impact on that particular phase of Collinsville?
Gee,
any mayor, past mayor, or any city public official of any kind that might have made a major change in the city that you can recollect?
No, not offhand. I'm thinking that a real estate man that we bought a house.
Holzwig?
Huh?
Holzwig.
Holzwig, yeah.
Yeah, Holzwig, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job in getting people here to buy homes here.
Yeah, that
are well to do. I mean, there are people that are good for the city.
Sure. Now this was Ed Holzwig. You're talking about Mr. Ed Holzwig.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If someone asked you to describe what it's like to live in Collinsville, how would you answer them?
Well, I think that I can't figure out how anybody would want anything better. What else we can do? It's such a nice place that anybody would want to live here. I think it's the people in the last say 50 years or so, I think have done a wonderful job keeping the city like it is and expanding like it did.
If someone asked you to describe what it's like to live in Collinsville, how would you?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I think it's
Just a,
for a family that has enough money to live in a nice place. I don't think you could beat it any better than.
what do you think Collinsville will be like 25 years from now? Do you have any idea about that?
No, but no, I don't know. It's really been growing good, though. I mean, it's been very good, and it's getting better all the time. I think that this city is on the road to getting even bigger than what it is.
Well, when you moved to Collinsville back in the mid 40s, I think the population was right around 8,500, and today it's about
What is 20?
23,000 now.
20.
So it has expanded considerably.
It really has expanded. Well, if it expands like it like it has been, we'll really have a nice big city.
If it's going to be like you say, we're going to have to get some more ground.
You'll have to get that. That's right. You have to get some more ground.
Yes.
Because.
In conclusion, is there anything else related to your life or Collinsville history that you would like to share with us at this time? We realize that our questions are by no means comprehensive, and we may have missed some important points that you would like to share. Your happiest moment or your most moving moment? And if so, if you have anything you'd like to share, would you tell us about that now?
No, I don't know.
Were your children all born when you moved to Collinsville? They were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were all born when we got here. But I'm real proud of our family. I mean, how they've developed, from the time we moved here. That it's really a pleasure for us to know that we've got such a good family, and the fact that the environment is so good, I think it helped too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I've met your son now, William, and I've met your daughter, Jane.
Oh, you meet her too, huh?
Yeah, and you do have a nice family.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you, John, for your cooperation, and we sincerely appreciate the time you have taken.
Yeah.
And to share your experiences with us.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate it too. I thank you very much. Only I'm kind of I wish I could speak a little bit better. That's the only thing.
That's all right. Now, a copy of this tape will be kept in the Collinsville Historical Museum. We'll have a copy of the tape in there for all time to come, for future generations, and your family or grandchildren may want to go there someday and look at this tape, and it'll be there for that purpose.
Where is it?
At the Collinsville Museum at the library.
At the library.
At the library, So I want to thank you very much, John.
Well, I thank you. I wish it could have been a little bit easier for you, but
that's all right. Don't worry about it. And then Bill, I'd like to thank you too. Thanks very much.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you.